In this video, I want to explain how I landed my second AI automation agency client a while ago, and I'm going to go through how the custom system we created for them was able to save them upwards of $500,000 a year, remove at least 4 to 5 full-time workers on a particular issue they were having, and how it's completely helped their business and improved everything. I can't show you the system because of NDAs and secrecy and privacy issues, but what I will do is I'll explain the issue the client was having, the industry they're in, the solution we created for them, and the impact it had on their business and the results of everything. So whenever I'm working with a client, I like to understand a few things. I like to understand the bottleneck, and by doing so, this is the issue they're having. A lot of times they know the problem they're having, and they'll just tell you, or sometimes they don't even know the problem. So select your questions very carefully. The right questions can get you the best answers. So I've got a list of questions. I'll give it to you in the link below. A list of questions that I go through when it comes to interviewing a client and understanding the pain points and the bottlenecks. And yeah, you can go through that. And it's about 6 or 7 questions I go through just face off to understand big picture what the issue is, and later on you can go into the problem. So the problem that this client was having was basically quoting. So I'll give you a breakdown of what industry they were in first. They're in the shipping industry. They're a ship chandler. The client's located in Australia, and it was actually a referral from the trucking client that we did. So we did the trucking job, the app, they loved that, and then we got the referral to do this shipping custom solution. Essentially, the role of a ship chandler is the following. Every ship that comes from around the world and docks on our shores, they need supplies. So who gives them these supplies? The ship chandlers give them their supplies. Every time the ship needs supplies, they send an Excel sheet of everything they need in terms of the products, whether it could be cows, chickens, sheep, food, anything. If they need a car, they can get a car on the thing. Whatever supplies they need for that ship to go on the next journey, the ship chandler has to supply. So what will happen is, essentially the way it works is the ship will call the chandlery service onshore and say, we're coming on this day and we need all this stuff. They'll send an email with all the stuff they need. Now the ship chandler, they're competing with other ship chandlers in that particular area. They need to make sure that they win the quote. How do you win the quote? You have to make sure that prices you're giving are accurate compared to the previous prices that you have, number one. And number two, you need to make sure you're quoting up that Excel sheet. You need to make sure it's called an RFQ, so a request for quote. This Excel sheet where they're asking for 100 different items, and of each item they're probably asking for 20 tomatoes, 100 apples, 20 oranges, 50 oranges, 2 cows, 3 sheep. They're asking for so many different things, and the job of the ship chandler is to provide what they need. And what they were doing is they had 4 to 5 guys, admin guys in here in Australia working full time on this. You got to also understand the data that these guys are managing, it, like the pricing structure and all that stuff. It's a very competitive market. There's only a few people in the industry that are working within each state or each country. There's like 30 in the whole Australia. So they're all competing against each other when it comes to these quotes. And whoever gets it quicker, whoever has the best pricing, whoever has the best quality, they go with them, essentially. So the issue this client was having was very simple. They wanted to automate the request for quote process. There's 300,000 items. There's multiple different companies, and under each company there's multiple different ships. The issue that these clients were having was the following. So there's companies, then there's ships, and then there's items. A ship can belong to multiple companies. And for each company, the client needed to make sure that the price they're giving is the same as their previous quotes. Why is that important? Because it needs to be accurate. If it's like charge you $2 for an apple and then $3 for an apple, and the next day it's different. Each company, each ship has a different price according to whatever their agreements were. Sometimes the prices go up a bit, sometimes the prices go down a bit. You need to regulate that. It's very important to have a structured database that systemizes that whole thing for them. So what would they do every time? These guys are getting multiple of these quotes with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of line items every single day. So what they'll do is they'll go into the database, they'll look at their previous quotes, their previous invoices they sent them for that particular company, and search up for that particular item. So imagine this, you have 150 items on an RFQ, a request for quote, on an Excel sheet. For each of those items, you got to search up that particular company, then that particular ship, and then you got to search up that particular item in your database. And then within each item, there's so many different variations of items. So for apples, there's so many different variations of apples. There's so many different variations of noodles, so many different variations of everything. As I said, there was 300,000 items. There's a lot of duplicates. Their database was a mess. And they came to us Everything was all over the place. So what we needed to do was focus on how can we make this as simple as possible. And here's what we've done. We created the system where as soon as the ship sends them an RFQ and says, okay, we want all these items, all they have to do is drag and drop the Excel sheet into the software we created for them, and it automatically search up the last time they charged that particular company and that particular ship for that particular item, and then automatically create a quote for them that they can just send out with an email. So something that took at least 4 to 5 hours to do before, it now takes them maximum 5 to 10 minutes to create a quote. Now imagine how effective that is when it comes to competing against others and having accuracy with your quotes, with your pricings. Okay, so how did we do that? First of all, we had to restructure their whole database. When it comes to software, it's very important to understand and to get the data structure right. So we had to restructure their whole database, all the 300,000 items, all their previous invoices, everything. It took a long time. It was a lot of work to do that. And then we created a system where as soon as the quote comes in, it'll automatically read it and then go grab that data, bang, put it in a quote, and then we created the quoting process where they can just send out that quote within 5 to 10 minutes. And all they had to do was come and verify it. That's the solution we created for the shipping company. Again, you can create a whole software out of this, charging $10,000 to $12,000 a year per user to use this type of solution. But for me, I'll explain in different videos why I didn't want to go down that path. I'm more interested in a different vision, a different solution that we've created. And that's why I'm happy with what we've done in terms of I've created so many different solutions for different problems and different clients and different industries. I understand, okay, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to solve this problem. This is where I want to create my SaaS. If you remember in my previous video, the one that you can see on the screen now, I outlined that I want to identify a problem within a specific industry and then solve that problem. For me, the industry has to be right, the problem has to be something that I really want to solve, like something that I get excited about and something that I want to sell multiple times. Now there's about a few thousand ship channels in the whole entire world, and a lot of them are set back in their ways. They're not like, they have a system that I like to change. There's a lot of trust issues. There's a lot of things that go into that industry, which is why I don't want to focus on it. All in all, it's a great solution. The system solves a big problem. It is something that was very fun to do, actually. It was exciting, and the team loved it. A very complex problem that was able to be solved. That's just one of many solutions. In the next video, I'm going to talk about a problem another client had, which was managing their staff and how they were using a current software and it just wasn't doing it for them, and how we created the whole thing for them again and the impact it had for their business as well. So that's what I'll be talking about in the next video. If you want to see the full case study on this particular video over here, you can. It's on our website. It's on our website, integrate.net.au. I outline the problem, the solution, the challenge, the impact, and there's a bunch of things you can learn from there. And you can see all our case studies over there. That's enough for now. Thank you.